Okay, y'all, hey. I'm back home from the brunch now. I was talking to y'all in the car after the brunch and my phone straight up died, okay, during what I was saying. It was like I noticed the phone got darker and then all of a sudden it was just like black. I said, "Oh Lord, the phone done died." So anyway, the brunch was really nice. It was, again, Pregnant and Black is the name of the organization, and the founder, her name is Raina. She started an app, and so the app launched today, or is launching here in the next few days during Black Maternal Health Week. But it's basically an app for Black women across the country to utilize to get like healthcare advocates and ask questions and all the things, because we are trying, many of us are passionate about Black maternal health and Black maternal health care. And so, of course, the goal is to improve those statistics. I mean, they were saying statistics today, which, I'm relatively familiar with, but like it's 3 times, more deadly for a Black woman to give birth than a white woman. And then the baby's maternal, mortality rather, rate for Black babies is also lower. We have a higher mortality rate than other races. So it's just crazy to me how we are disproportionately affected by healthcare issues in general. And so pregnancy is no different in the Black community. So I really, admire the work that Raina's doing with Pregnant and Black. I made a donation, and I'm going to ask my chapter of my mom's organization to match my donation that I made today to her organization. They had a couple of politicians to speak today during the brunch, and so I got a little bit of footage of them. I'm trying not to get people's faces that were in the crowd as much, and I was trying to zoom in, so the footage is not great that I got of the speakers, but I did get a little bit of footage so that you guys could see. And then Latoya spoke. I keep calling her Latoya Luckett, but I don't think that's her last name anymore. But Latoya spoke, and she did a beautiful job speaking. She's so relatable and so kind. And so it was just really good to hear from her as well and her perspective on things. So yes, we champion Black women. We champion Black mothers, especially we want to survive. We want to live. I call myself a survivor. I am a postpartum preeclampsia survivor. And so I feel like any woman that has, dealt with maternal issues, health issues, postpartum issues, and you're still here to tell your story, you are a survivor. And of course, we do it for the women who unfortunately didn't make it. We fight for them. We fight in their name. We fight in the name of not only the survivors, but those that didn't make it, because, we got to turn that around. We need more of us alive and here to raise these babies that we're having. It's crazy that you can be afraid. Like, that's one of the reasons why, people be asking me, I'm gonna have another baby. And first off, okay, have y'all checked my birth certificate? Do y'all see how old I am? Okay, let's start there, okay? But then I have some people say, well, you can still have a baby. You're not too old. You're not too old. Okay, well, I think I am. But even if that's not the case, I'm afraid, if I'm honest. Like, I'm scared that what pregnancy would do to another pregnancy would do to my body. Especially after I went through with the first pregnancy. Pregnancy was pretty smooth, but that postpartum, that's a whole other beast. And it's like those things that they don't really talk about, that people don't tell you about, that you don't really know going into it, like what you're getting into. But it's a lot. It takes a huge toll on your body. And I'm not trying to scare nobody or deter anybody from having a baby, but there's just a reality to it that you don't know until you've gone through it. And I am pretty sure that I would be pre-eclamptic if I had another baby. And so I already have a child that I need to be around and live for. So I don't really want to risk my life trying to have another baby. And I don't know. I mean, maybe there are things that I could do differently, because I do feel like I gained way too much weight when I was pregnant with Duke, because I just thought it was a free-for-all and I could eat whatever I wanted and do whatever I wanted to do. I mean, not just whatever I wanted to do. I knew what the parameters were. But in terms of like, oh, I'm eating for two, so let me get some french fries. Let me get this. And I feel like I gained too much weight. And I think that's part of the reason I had some of the complications that I had on the backside of birth. Now, I did try to prepare my body for childbirth. I would be in there. I remember Duke was born in June, that whole month of April. So like right now, in April, I was riding the bike every day. I rode the bike every day for all 30 days of April for like 30 minutes, I think. My doctor told me to get a stationary bike because she said you need to exercise while you're pregnant. So I rode the bike every single day in the month of April because I was really trying to get my body ready for labor. And so I think I labored well. I think I labored fine overall, but it was just, that postpartum. And when I look at the pictures, I was showing Duke some pictures just last night or the night before. No, it was last night of me because he likes to look at his baby pictures and stuff. And I was showing him pictures of me pregnant. And I mean, I said, dude, I look like a whale. He thought that was so funny. He said, Mommy, why you call yourself a whale? I said, I was a whale. I gained way too much weight. I should have been much more mindful. So I just feel like all my sisters out there, if you pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, make sure you manage your weight when you're pregnant. Don't think you got a free, don't be like me. It's not a free fall, okay? Manage your weight because it could have implications while you're pregnant and thereafter. Definitely get a blood pressure machine. Hey, Snoop, where you going? Put that down. Definitely get a blood pressure machine. Duke came in. And monitor your blood pressure, which your doctor will probably tell you those types of things as well. And then just know what to look for. It's good to, I'm glad Raina's starting this app too, because it's good to have advocates and people that are on your side and can tell you things that you may not know. Because I know I had a nurse through my job, through the insurance at my job, that I would talk to, I think quarterly while I was pregnant. And she was very helpful for me. And she would ask certain questions and she would just be like, okay, are you this? Are you that? And if you're having a headache, you need to check your blood pressure. You probably need to, call your doctor or go to the ER if it's a really, really bad headache. Like, she would tell me things to look for. And not to say that my doctor didn't, because I have a Black doctor as well. But it was just helpful to have another ear. Because, sometimes you hear things, you hear it, and then it kind of go in one ear and out the other, or you forget it, or, oh, yeah, she did tell me that and I forgot. So it was just good to have that reinforcement of things. So just know what to look for. Know your family history, because I was, again, pre-eclampsia on the back end. My blood pressure was fine all throughout my pregnancy until I had the baby. Then my blood pressure was elevated too high to where I could have had a stroke. So it's like my mama kind of found out she had been pre-eclampsia with a pregnancy. I think with my oldest sister, I didn't really know that. So it's like, know your family history too, because that can kind of help you to know what you may need to look out for. Because if your mom experienced it, you might, it could be more likely that you will too. So knowing family history is important. And both of my parents are hypertensive. So I do have to watch, my weight and watch what I do. Because hypertension just runs in my family. So I'm susceptible, to that. So it's just so important to know those things and know what to look out for, know what to watch for, those headaches and things like that. Although I didn't have a headache. And here again, that's why my nurse was like, yeah, it's a silent killer. I didn't have no headache, but my feet were swollen. My ankles were swollen. My feet were swollen. I've told this story before. And that was the trigger for a nurse to say to my mom. My mom happened to be on the phone with a friend of hers who was a nurse. And she was like, check her blood pressure. And I'm glad she said that, because my blood pressure was very, very elevated. And I had to leave my 2-week-old baby and go back to the hospital and be admitted for I was in the hospital like 5 days. It felt like forever. But it was like 5 days. They had to get that blood pressure down. They have to put you on that magnesium sulfate, that mag drip. Now that's what gave me a headache. My head was pounding when I got on that mag drip. Oh my gosh. And just had recently given birth, I was over being in the hospital. Because when I had Duke, I think he was born on a Tuesday night. We didn't go home till Friday. So I stayed in the hospital. I had been there, though. I labored from early Tuesday morning. 3 o'clock. I threw my water broke at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. I didn't have him till 9:15 that night. And then I was there all day Wednesday. So I was there all day Tuesday in labor. Couldn't eat nothing. Them nasty popsicles. I don't want that. I didn't want that. They would not let me eat anything but like a little water, ice, them popsicles. Labeled all day. And then I was there all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and then we went home Friday. And so having to go back to the hospital, I was so tired of stuff sticking in my arm and poking my arm and stuff. I had that mag drip. They constantly taking your blood pressure. They were like, well, you can pump. They brought me a pump. I ain't want to pump. I want to go home. I want to go home and be my baby. It felt like torture. It just felt so bad. I can't even describe it. It was so isolating. I was lonely. I was just so upset. Like, you just had a baby, so you thinking you're going to be home with your baby, and to have to be in the hospital, and you don't really have anybody because it was the pandemic still. So they were starting to at first, I didn't think anybody was going to be able to be with me when I had Duke, because they were like, or just one person. I think they said you could have one person. So it was going to be me and my husband. And then, sometimes in your mind, you envision like, oh, when I have a baby, what it's going to be like. And not knowing, what the future holds. It's a pandemic, so I'm thinking my family can come and this and that, but it's like you limited to how many people can actually be there. But by the time I actually had him, they were up to 2 people, because we were trying to get vaccinated, and it was a little bit better. It was still pandemic, but it was like a little bit better. So they allowed me to have 2 people. So my mom and my husband were there. But yeah, it was just a lot. It was a lot. And then once I had him and had to go back to the hospital, my grandmother had died, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be at her funeral. Well, I was in the hospital. So a day or 2 after I found out she died, I had to go to the hospital. So I missed the funeral. It was just so isolating. My whole family was together. I didn't get to say goodbye to my grandmother. The last time I saw her, I was like 9-ish months pregnant, 8.5, 9 months pregnant with Duke. And we had gone to see her. So that was the last time I physically saw her. We did FaceTime her in the hospital when Duke was born so she could see him. But she was, she wasn't as coherent, but I think she kind of knew what was going on. And that was it. I didn't get to really tell her goodbye. I didn't get to go to her funeral. Like I said, my family was together, my baby. I just had to kind of let everything go to focus on myself and get better. I say let everything go. I just mean I had to just be isolated. Like I couldn't go. My husband went to the funeral. My husband had gone out of town when I went to the hospital that night. He came back. He didn't know. We didn't know I was going to be in the hospital, but when he found out, he came back and he stayed with me in the hospital, but he would leave, go to the funeral or leave and do something and come back. So I would just be so lonely. It's only so much Law and Order you can watch, okay? Like I was tired of it. Wasn't much on TV. You watching the little hospital channels that they have. They have a little cable, so you watching Law and Order. It's on all day. It's bound to be a channel that got Law and Order on any time of the day. USA, all them little channels. So yeah, I was just, oh gosh, it was tough. It really was. It was really hard, and to be away from my new little baby. And I just held him before my daddy came to take me to the ER, because I was leaving my baby with my mama. And my daddy was coming to take me, and I was just holding him. It was like, I pray I make it back. It was just so sad. Like, I was like, I pray that I'm going to be okay, and then I'm going to raise this child, So I just held him because I didn't know if that was going to be the last time. And at first, my mama was like, I think she was a little nervous. My blood pressure was really high, and she was like holding him. And I was like, Mama, let me, give him to me, and she was I'm like, Mama, give me my baby, kind of like, what? Why is she holding on to him? I think she was maybe nervous herself. And I was like, let me hold him, because I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking, because I don't know if this might be the last time I get to hold him. I don't know. So it was just scary, and you don't really know what you're walking into. And I feel like the hospital, they was like not really explaining a lot to me. I'm like, they put me on all this medicine, and they were giving me medicine intravenously in my veins, so it was coming quick, getting that blood pressure down. But it would kind of creep back up, but it was coming down because they had me on monitor so I could see it, what my blood pressure was. But I'm like, okay, so what's going on? Do I have to stay here? What do I have? Why is this happening? Like, I had to ask questions. So here again, I'm really glad that, Raina has this app, and that there are resources, for women, so that they have, maybe access to those answers more quickly. I will say though, my mama was like, you need to call your doctor's office. Like they usually have an emergency line or whatever. So I did call and I said, hey, my blood pressure is this. Do I have to go to the emergency room? Like, thinking my mama already said you gotta go, but I'm just calling. They were like, yeah, you need to go. So, I mean, I did, have those types of resources that I used as well. But I think you never can have enough resources. I think you should use everything available to you. And I think this app is going to help a lot of people because, there are stories of especially Black women not being believed or, going and being dismissed like, oh, discharged, like, oh, you're fine. You just need to drink more. You just need to put your feet up or whatever the case may be. And it's something more serious. So we do need people advocating for us and saying, no, have you checked this? Did you check that? Did you make sure? Like, let's say my mama friend, check her blood pressure. Like you need those people because many of us are not healthcare professionals. So we don't know. We don't know what to look out for. We're depending on them, to care for us. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't get cared for in the most optimal way. But again, thankfully, I have good doctors overall, and they were able to regulate my blood pressure. It just took a few days to see what was going to do it. They give you a little bit at a time and see what works. They don't want to over-medicate you. So they had to kind of keep, like, giving me a little bit, and then trying a couple things together. I left on 2 blood pressure medicines when I finally did get to go home. And then I eventually came off of 1, and now I'm off of both. I don't take blood pressure medicine anymore. My blood pressure's good, thank the Lord. I do, feel like I am healed, and I praise God for that. Losing the weight helped a lot. That's why I feel like I have to maintain a healthy weight throughout my life. Otherwise, I do have the propensity to be hypertensive, if not. So yeah, but now I don't take blood pressure. I still got my nifedipine in that cabinet in there, but I don't have to take it anymore. By the grace of God, I kept going to my OB/GYN doctor for a while, especially after you postpartum, you have to keep going and she, evaluate you and stuff. But then she turned me over to a primary care doctor. So then she was monitoring my blood pressure, checking my kidneys and all of that kind of stuff. So by the grace of God, my kidneys are doing well. If you've heard me tell the story before, when I first went to the hospital, when it first happened, the doctor that came in the following morning after they tested my blood and everything, she said, your kidneys were struggling a little bit. So, again, you sitting there like, dang, what does that mean? It's just scary. It's very scary. But they rebounded. I'm okay. I was okay. She was like, I think you're gonna be okay. I think they're gonna rebound. So I'm good. My kidneys, at least that's what they tell me. I'm depending on them. That they run the test and they tell me my kidneys are good, things are good, my blood pressure is good. So just maintaining a healthy weight is important. So I just want everybody out there to be encouraged. I always mean to have like something on my vlog to like encourage mothers, and then I always forget to say it when I go back to edit or when I'm done filming. I'm like, dang, I ain't say my little Lord. So y'all charge it to like mom brain and a lot going on. But I'm also hoping that, I know this is getting lengthy, but I'm also hoping that the vlog itself is just an example to mothers and an inspiration to mothers out there. Particularly Black mothers and just working mothers and women out there that are juggling a lot of things. There was a time, especially when my baby was young, that I did not think that I could be here doing all the things that I'm doing. I was overwhelmed. I was postpartum. I was depressed. It was still COVID. We would have those surges of COVID, and I got a little baby. And so it's like, it was all kind of complexities there. I felt very isolated at home with my baby because then I'm afraid to take him out because if he gets COVID, I'm not going to forgive myself for that. And what if it's bad for him? And so it's just, the anxiety was on 20, okay? And then sometimes family doesn't understand. And there's the dynamic of the blended family too. So you're trying to say, okay, well, I have this little baby and, if y'all are going to come over, we've got to kind of, work together to make sure we wear our mask and doing, and that doesn't always go over well. People don't always understand, and they may feel like, oh, you looking out for your baby more than other people. And it's like, it's not that, but he couldn't get vaccinated. He can't wear a mask, so those of us who can, we have to look out for the most vulnerable person in our family. So it was so many complexities to having a baby in COVID, your first baby, a new mom. The most days, it would just be me and Duke in here. That's why we so close. That's one of the reasons we're so close. We spend so much time together from birth, and not to say every other mother doesn't spend time with her baby and be very bonded, but it was just me and him a lot of time. My husband would go out to work or do different things. He work on the weekends, different stuff. So it would just be me and my baby. My husband is he's a little less cautious than me. So he might go somewhere. He might go to church. He might do, whereas I'm trying to keep the baby from crowds. So we stream church a lot. So it's me and him a lot of the time. And so it was just a very tough time. And I was depressed. Once we started at my job going back into the office, I didn't realize how much I needed that. Like, we started going back once a week, but that one day helped me so much to just get out. So I will say, like, if you're feeling overwhelmed or feeling depressed or anything, sometimes just getting out helps. Like, if I had to do over again, maybe I would have taken Duke to like a park. Like, we would have done something. I felt like I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I never done this before, and I had certainly never done it in COVID, or you got COVID out there. Where are we going? What are we doing? And, I have to say too, I'm not a big outdoorsy person. So it didn't really occur to me to now we go to the park. He's bigger, he running around, but it didn't occur to me to take him to like a park or do something like that. So yeah, just know that there is another side. Like, there's life after the struggle of having like very young babies, especially if you do a lot of it by yourself or you're a single mom, whatever the case may be. Sometimes like I'll meet with new moms in our chapter or something like that, and they'll be like, how you do this or how you doing stuff. But, they may have a 2-year-old or, a 1.5. I'm like, but see, my baby a little bigger now. When my baby was your baby's age, I wasn't doing this. You have to keep the main thing and do the most important things at that time. And sometimes, especially when you have a very young baby, it's just feeding the baby, changing their diaper, keeping them alive. That's enough. Give yourself grace. Don't think you have to do it all, know it all, be doing all the stuff you may see somebody else doing. That's great for them. They not you. Don't compare yourself. That's the biggest thing. And I think that's in any stage of motherhood. You can't compare your child. You can't compare your mothering. You can't compare yourself to other people. Give yourself grace. You kept them alive. That's all you need to do. Kept yourself together. You brushed your teeth today. That's all you need to do. You don't have to do a whole lot. And then the bigger they get, now, shoot, my husband would be like, she don't clean up, she don't do that. For a while, I didn't. And I'm not a dirty, nasty type person. I'm not. But when I had a little baby, it was very hard to try to balance and juggle how to keep a house clean and keep a baby. Like, you got to keep him from falling off of that bed, falling off of that thing over there. How I'm supposed to be trying to clean and do. And then when he finally take a nap, shoot, I'm trying to sit down somewhere too, because I've been running around and look, baby all day, or especially when they start crawling and moving and walking. Baby, how I'm supposed to do all of this? Now, my he's almost 5. He's 4.5, really 4 3/4. Me and him be in the shower, we clean the shower together. He get the low parts, I get the high parts. I'm back in a groove. I had to get back to getting my nails done. For a while, I didn't get my nails done when I had a younger baby, because you have to have a babysitter for sure. Now, y'all see him. He be right there sitting in that chair at that nail shop. He know how to sit up in there and watch his tablet. We didn't have a tablet last time, but he know the deal, he know the drill. But you have to work your way to those things. So just be encouraged. All my mamas out there, just be encouraged. Whatever stage of motherhood you at, be encouraged. Know you're doing a great job. Do the best you can. Leave the rest up to the Lord. Seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit in raising these children. Take care of yourself, because you can't take care of somebody else if you don't take care of you. And that's why I do the things that I do. with regard to trying to get my steps, trying to eat a certain way, get my nails done, I get my hair done. I believe that mama needs to be okay too. So that's very, very important. So that's my story. I wanted to share because I want somebody to be inspired and just know that the things that I do, I ain't trying to say I'm just so great, so grand. But if you feel like you need, like you can't do it for whatever reason, or like it's a lot, I want you to be encouraged and just know that by my example, you know what I mean? Like, one, I had to work my way to this point, and the older my there's still things I can't do or can't do at the frequency that I may want or whatever the case may be. As he gets older, I'll have, there'll be even more things that I'll be able to add to. So you just have to give yourself grace, stage it in, phase it in, use your village. When you need a break, when you need support, don't be afraid to say that. Can you watch the baby for me while I do this? Ask for that help you need. Like, I asked my husband to go to the grocery store. I told y'all earlier he didn't make it yesterday, but he did say he was gonna go today when he get off. So, which I was gonna go, but he said no. That's one less thing for you. So, maybe he's hearing me these days. I don't know, but he said he's gonna go. So I am trying to get better myself at just asking for help and asking for the support that I need, because it's a lot. It's a lot when you're juggling so much at one time. You can't do it all by yourself. I guess all I'm saying is I do this in a large part just to show other moms out there that you're not alone. There's someone else, at least one other person, me, but there are many of us out here doing the things, doing the hard things, doing the juggle, frustrated some days, feel like we getting it wrong some days, feeling like things not working out some days, but yet we just keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing what we have to do to show up for our kids, show up for our family, show up for ourselves. And if we're doing it, you can do it too. So just know that. Just know that you can do it too. And it may not look the same as the way I do it at whatever stage of motherhood you at, and that's okay too. Or if you're at a stage of motherhood where you have a young child, just be patient. It gets better. It gets better. It get harder maybe in a different way. But certain things about it get better the older that they get. So hang in there, mamas. Yeah, we got this. We got this. We're going to stick together. We got this.